The stars looked cold through the big window of the spaceship. William Hayes stood there for a long time, not moving. His blue uniform was neat and clean, showing his rank as Earth's top diplomat. The ship, called Envoy's Promise, moved quietly through space. William was tired. His eyes had dark circles under them. He had not slept well for many days. News from Earth kept getting worse. More human colonies were cut off by the Arcturus Empire's ships. These colonies were places where millions of humans lived on planets, far from Earth. "Sir, we just got another message from Earth," said Olivia Martinez. She walked into the room holding a datapad. Her dark hair was pulled back, and her face looked worried. "Is it about more colonies?" William asked. He already knew the answer. "Yes, sir. New Portland and Liberty Station can't talk to us anymore. That makes 17 colonies cut off this month." William closed his eyes for a moment. 4 billion people. That's how many humans were now trapped, unable to get food, medicine, or help from Earth. The Arcturus Empire said they were stopping a disease from spreading, but William knew that was a lie. "What did the Galactic Council say this time?" he asked. Olivia shook her head. "They're still talking about it, no decision yet." William almost laughed, but there was no joy in it. The Galactic Council had members from over 300 different alien species. They made rules for everyone in the galaxy. But they were slow, and many members were afraid of the Arcturus Empire. The Arcturians looked like tall, thin lizards with scales that changed color with their feelings. Their empire was one of the oldest in the galaxy. They had been in space for thousands of years before humans built their first rocket. They thought they owned the stars. "I need to see the latest reports," William said. Olivia handed him the data pad. William read quickly. The Arcturian ships were still blocking all ways in or out of the human colonies. Food was running low in some places. Hospitals couldn't get medicine. It was getting worse every day. "We can't wait anymore," William said. He put down the datapad and turned to Olivia. "Tell Captain Ryan to set course for Nexus Station. I'm going to speak to the council myself." Olivia's eyes got wide. "Sir, the Arcturians said no humans should come to the council station. They sent out warnings last week." "I know what they said," William replied. His voice was quiet but firm. "But sometimes you have to break a small rule to stop someone from breaking a big one. The peace treaty says all species can speak to the council when they're in danger. We qualify." Olivia nodded and used her communicator to tell the captain. Soon William felt the slight push as the ship changed direction. He went to his room and opened a hidden compartment in his desk. Inside was a small box. William took it out and looked at it for a long time. Inside was Earth's last hope, and the thing the Arcturus Empire feared most. 6 hours later, the Envoy's Promise approached Nexus Station. It was huge, like a metal city floating in space. Ships from hundreds of different worlds came and went. The center was a giant ring that spun slowly to create gravity. That's where the council met. "Sir, they're telling us to turn back," said Captain Ryan over the communication system. "Arcturian patrol ships are moving to block our path. Send them this message," William said. He pressed a button on his desk, sending a file to the captain. "It's our right to speak to the council under Article 7 of the Charter. If they fire on a diplomatic vessel, it's an act of war against all council races." William knew the Arcturians wouldn't fire. They liked to seem civilized. They wouldn't want the other races to see them attack an unarmed ship. He was right. After some tense minutes, the patrol ships moved aside. The Envoy's Promise continued toward the station. "They're giving us permission to dock," Olivia said, sounding surprised. "But they say only you can leave the ship." "That's fine," William said. "I only need myself for this." He picked up the small box from his desk and put it in his pocket. Then he walked to the airlock where he would leave the ship. Olivia followed him. "Sir, what exactly are you planning to do?" William smiled at her. It was a sad smile. "I'm going to show the Arcturians that humans aren't as weak as they think. We've faced bullies before throughout our history. We always find a way to fight back." "But they have more ships, more weapons," Olivia said. "Their technology is better than ours." "True," William agreed. But that's not the only kind of power. Sometimes knowledge is more important than weapons. The airlock door opened. On the other side stood 4 Arcturian guards. Their scales were dark blue, showing they were serious and alert. "Ambassador Hayes," said one guard, "you will come with us to the waiting area. The council will decide if you can speak." William nodded and stepped forward. "Lead the way." As they walked through the station, aliens of many different kinds moved out of their path. Some had many eyes or legs. Some floated instead of walking. Some were made of crystal or metal instead of flesh. The galaxy was full of strange and wonderful life. William thought about Earth and its colonies. Humans were new to space travel compared to many races. They had only been part of the galactic community for about 300 years. In that time, they had followed all the rules, signed all the treaties, and respected all boundaries. They had been good neighbors. Yet now the Arcturus Empire was trying to push humans back, to keep them weak and divided. They feared how quickly humans learned and adapted. Other species took thousands of years to change. Humans changed in decades. The guards led William to a small room near the council chamber. "Wait here," one said. When they left, William took out his communication device and contacted his ship. "Olivia, start sending the data package to every council member's private channel. Make sure it can't be traced back to us." "Yes, sir," Olivia replied. "It will take about 20 minutes to reach them all." William put away the device and sat down to wait. Soon, a council aide came to the door. The aide looked like a tall insect, with 4 arms. "Ambassador Hayes," the aide said, "the council has agreed to hear you under Article 7. Please follow me." William stood up and straightened his uniform. The small box felt heavy in his pocket. It contained proof that the Arcturus Empire had been planning to attack human worlds for years. It also contained the details of humanity's response, a response that would make the Empire pay for disrupting the peace. William followed the aide toward the council chamber. His face was calm, but inside, he felt a fierce determination. Today, everything would change. William walked toward the big round doors of the council chamber. His steps were slow but steady. He could hear many voices inside, speaking in different languages. The aide with 4 arms stood beside him. "Wait here until your name is called," the aide said. "Do not speak until the Chancellor gives you permission." William nodded. His hands felt cold, but his mind was clear. The small box in his pocket held evidence that would shock everyone in that room. It showed that the Arcturus Empire had been planning to attack human colonies for years. After a few minutes, the doors opened. William took a deep breath and walked in. The council chamber was huge and round. Seats rose up on all sides like steps, filled with beings from hundreds of different worlds. Some looked almost human. Others were very strange, beings made of light or gas or stone. In the middle was a round platform where speakers stood. Above it floated many screens showing different alien writing. The chamber felt old and important. It had seen thousands of years of galactic history. Chancellor Vox sat in a special place at the front. He was a large being made of living crystal. His voice rumbled like stones when he spoke. "Ambassador William Hayes of Earth, you have asked to speak under Article 7 of the Charter. This is unusual." William bowed slightly. "Thank you for allowing me to speak, Chancellor. I would not have come if the situation were not very serious." From a section near the front, an Arcturian rose. His scales were bright blue with red spots, showing anger and warning. This was Ambassador Krex, the main voice of the Arcturus Empire in the Council. "This human should not be here," Krex hissed. "His kind spreads too quickly through our galaxy. Now they bring their problems to this sacred chamber." The Chancellor raised a crystal arm for quiet. "Ambassador Krex, Earth has the right to speak under Article 7. If you wish to respond, you will wait your turn." Krex sat down, his scales now fully red with anger. William walked to the central platform. He placed his hand on the scanner there, and it lit up green. This showed he was really who he claimed to be. The platform rose slightly so everyone could see him better. "Members of the Galactic Council," William began, "for 300 years humans have lived peacefully among you. We have followed your rules. We have respected your borders. We have traded fairly." He paused and looked around the room. But now, 17 human colonies have been cut off by ships from the Arcturus Empire. 4 billion people cannot get food, medicine, or help. The Empire says they are stopping a disease, but there is no disease. Murmurs spread through the crowd. Some aliens leaned forward to hear better. Others talked quietly to each other. "Ambassador Hayes," said Chancellor Vox, "these are serious claims. Do you have proof that the Empire is lying?" "I do," William said. He took the small box from his pocket and placed it on the platform. It opened and projected a hologram that everyone could see. The hologram showed Arcturian ships surrounding human worlds. "These images were taken in the last 30 days, William explained. "You can see the blockade around each colony. No ships can go in or out. But more important is what the Empire is saying to its own captains." He touched the box again. Now the hologram showed Arcturian writing with a translation. "This is a message sent from Imperial Command to all blockade ships," William said. "It is called Operation Primate Containment. It says, the rapid spread of humans must be stopped before they take more systems. Cut them off and wait. Soon they will be too weak to resist when we take their worlds." The chamber erupted in loud voices. Many council members stood up, pointing and shouting. The Chancellor had to bang his crystal arm on his desk several times to get quiet. Ambassador Krex jumped to his feet again. "These are lies. The human has made fake messages to trick you." "The messages have been checked by Council security," William replied calmly. "They are real. Your Empire planned this attack for years." William touched the box once more. New images appeared, showing more Arcturian messages and plans. "The Empire is not acting from hate," William continued. "They are acting from fear. They fear humans because we learn and change quickly. Most species take thousands of years to develop new technology. Humans do it in decades." He showed charts comparing how fast different species learned new skills. Humans were not the fastest, but they were among the top 5, and all the others were small, weak species. "The Arcturians believe the galaxy should change very slowly," William said. "They have ruled for thousands of years by keeping things the same, but humans bring change wherever they go. We cannot help it. It is our nature to explore, to create, to try new things." A tall, thin alien with silver skin spoke up. "Even if this is true, Ambassador Hayes, what do you expect the Council to do? The Empire is powerful. Their fleet is the largest in the galaxy." William nodded. "I understand. Many here are afraid to stand against the Empire. That is why Earth has not just come with complaints. We have also come with answers." He pressed a button on his wrist device. "Olivia, show them the response." The big screens around the chamber suddenly changed. They showed a map of the galaxy with many small dots of light scattered through it. "What is this?" asked the Chancellor. "These are human trading ships," William explained. "For many years we have built our merchant fleet. We now have over 50,000 ships carrying goods between worlds. Many of these goods go to the Arcturus Empire." The dots of light moved on the map, showing trade routes. Many led to Arcturian worlds. "The Empire depends on human trade more than they know," William said. 20% of their food comes from human farms. 30% of their medicine comes from human factories. 40% of their entertainment comes from human artists. Ambassador Krex stood again, his scales now pale blue, showing fear. "You would not dare cut off trade. It would break too many agreements." William looked directly at Krex. "You broke the peace first when you surrounded our colonies. As of today, all human ships have stopped delivering to Empire worlds. All human companies have stopped selling to Empire customers." The chamber grew very quiet. Everyone understood what this meant. The Empire was powerful, but it needed trade to function. "This is only the beginning of Earth's response," William continued. "We have more to show you." He touched his box again, and new images appeared. These were designs for engines, power plants, and other technology. "For years, the Empire has kept certain technologies secret or expensive," William said. "They control who can travel fast, who can make cheap energy, who can build the best weapons. But humans have been creating their own versions of these technologies. He smiled a little. As of today, we are sharing these designs with every species. In the Council, except the Arcturians. Anyone can now build what was once available only from the Empire. Now many council members were nodding and looking pleased. The Arcturian delegation huddled together, talking urgently. Chancellor Vox raised his hand. Ambassador Hayes, what does Earth want from the Council? Justice, William said simply. We want the blockades removed. We want our people to be safe. And we want the Arcturus Empire to face consequences for breaking the peace. The Chancellor nodded slowly. The Council will need time to discuss this and decide. Take all the time you need, William replied, but know that Earth has one more response ready if the blockades are not lifted soon. I hope I will not need to reveal it. He stepped down from the platform. The chamber was filled with excited talk as he walked out. William felt tired, but satisfied. The truth was now known to all. The Empire's secret plans were exposed. Outside the chamber, William checked his device. Messages were already coming in from many worlds. Some offered support. Others wanted the human technologies he had shown. The balance of power in the galaxy was shifting. William sent a message back to his ship. Phase 1 complete. Prepare for Phase 2. William walked down the long hallway that led from the council chamber. Many aliens turned to look at him. Some seemed scared, others seemed impressed. No one had ever stood up to the Arcturus Empire this way before. A small green alien with 4 eyes stepped in front of William. Ambassador Hayes, I am Zelo from the Rigel worlds. We want to talk about the technology you offered. Of course, William said with a smile. Earth will share everything we promised. But first, the Empire must free our colonies. More aliens gathered around William. They all wanted to talk about trade and technology. For so long, the Empire had controlled who got the best ships, the best weapons, and the best tools. Now that might change. William's communication device beeped. It was Olivia from the ship. Sir, the first reports are coming in. Human ships are stopping all deliveries to Empire worlds. Their space stations are sending emergency signals. They didn't store enough food or medicine. Good, William said quietly. That will make them think carefully about their next move. Just then, the doors to a side room opened. Chancellor Vox came out, his crystal body glowing with a blue light that showed he was worried. Ambassador Hayes, please come with me, the Chancellor said. The Arcturian delegation wishes to speak with you privately. William followed the Chancellor into a small meeting room. 3 Arcturians were waiting there. Ambassador Krek sat in the middle. Next to him was General Zoth, the head of the Empire's space fleet. On the other side was Trade Minister Seleth. Their scales showed different colors. Krex was still angry. Red, Zoth was battle-ready orange, and Seleth was worried purple. You have caused much trouble, human, Krex hissed. Your tricks will not save your colonies. William sat down across from them. He kept his face calm. These are not tricks, Ambassador. This is the natural result of your actions. You broke the peace. We responded. General Zoth leaned forward. His orange scales had black tips, showing he was thinking about attack. Our fleet can destroy your trading ships. We can take what we need. You could try, William agreed. But attacking unarmed trading ships would break even more laws. The other council races would turn against you, and you would find that humans have prepared for that too. William touched his device again, showing a new map. This one showed small triangles positioned all around the edge of Empire space. What are these? Asked Seleth, the trade minister. Human military outposts, William explained. For the past 5 years, while our trading ships were visiting your worlds, our warships were building bases just outside your borders. If you attack our merchants, these bases will respond. The 3 Arcturians looked at each other. This was clearly news to them. You lie, General Zoth said, but his scales were turning pale blue with doubt. Your spy networks have gotten lazy, William said. You were so sure humans were weak that you didn't look closely at what we were doing. We built these bases in secret, piece by piece. William showed them more images. Human bases with ships and weapons ready. The Empire had more ships overall, but they were spread throughout their territory. The human forces were all positioned to strike at key Empire worlds. Trade Minister Sealith's scales turned fully purple with worry. We cannot fight on so many fronts at once, and without human trade, our inner worlds will face shortages within days. Krex hissed at him to be quiet, but the damage was done. William now knew for sure that the Empire depended on human goods. There is a simple solution, William said calmly. Remove your ships from around our colonies. Let our people get the supplies they need. Then we can talk about resuming normal trade. And the technology you showed the Council? Asked Selith. Will you still share that with the others? William nodded. Yes, that part cannot be undone. For too long, the Empire has kept certain technologies for itself, or made them too expensive for younger species. That time is over. Krex stood up, his scales bright red with rage. You would destroy thousands of years of careful balance. Some species are not ready for advanced technology. That is not for you to decide anymore, William replied. Every species should choose its own path. Chancellor Vox, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. The Empire cannot accept all these terms at once. It would look weak. William thought for a moment. He understood politics. The Empire needed to save face. We can create a step-by-step plan, he offered. First, the Empire removes ships from 5 of our colonies, the ones with the most serious supply problems. In return, we allow basic food shipments to resume to Empire worlds. He looked at each Arcturian. Then, as more colonies are freed, more trade resumes. When all 17 colonies are free, full trade can restart. Trade Minister Sealith's scales turned a light green, showing interest. This could work. Our people would not starve, and it would look like a mutual agreement, not a surrender. General Zoth growled. And your military bases, will you remove those? They will remain for now, William said firmly. Until we are sure the peace will last. Krex hissed again, but Selith put a hand on his arm. We should consider this offer, Ambassador. The economic damage is already severe. Reports say our stock markets have lost 30% of their value since the human announcement. William stood up. I will give you time to discuss this among yourselves and with your government. I will be on my ship for the next 6 hours. After that, we move to Phase 2 of our response. What is Phase 2? Asked General Zoth, his scales now showing worried blue. William smiled slightly. Let's hope we don't need to find out. He left the room and headed back to the docking area, where his ship waited. As he walked, his device kept beeping with new messages. Many council races wanted to talk about technology, trade deals, and alliances with Earth. Olivia met him at the airlock of the Envoy's Promise. It's working, sir, she said excitedly. 17 different worlds have already offered to help break the blockades if the Empire doesn't back down. They see which way the wind is blowing, William replied. For too long they've been afraid of the Empire. Now they see a chance for change. Inside his private office on the ship, William checked the latest reports. The human response was working, better than expected. Empire worlds were already facing shortages of key supplies. Their financial systems were in trouble as investors panicked. Captain Ryan came in with more news. Sir, 5 Arcturian blockade ships have just left their positions around New Portland Colony. A supply ship has already reached the main port there, William nodded. So they're taking our offer seriously. Good. What if they don't free all the colonies? Asked Ryan. What exactly is Phase 2? William looked at the captain. Phase 2 is something I hope we never need to use. The human government gave me authority to share it only if absolutely necessary. He went to his desk and opened a hidden panel. Inside was a data cube, a storage device holding important secrets. This contains information about certain Empire leaders who have been taking bribes, breaking laws, and hurting their own people. If we release this, the Empire might face revolution from within. Ryan looked shocked. How did we get this information? William smiled. While their ships watched our ships, our spies watched their leaders. Humans are good at being overlooked. Just then, Olivia rushed in. Sir, Urgent message from Earth. The Emperor himself wants to speak with you. He's offering to remove all blockades immediately. William couldn't hide his surprise. This was moving faster than he expected. It seems we won't need Phase 2 after all, he said, putting the data cube away. The Emperor must have realized how serious our response is. William sat at his desk and prepared to speak with the Emperor of the Arcturus Empire. In just 2 days, he had changed the balance of power in the galaxy. Human colonies would be free. Human technology would help many worlds, and the peace that was disrupted would be replaced with something better, a peace based on fairness, not fear. William sat at his desk on the envoy's promise. He took a deep breath. In a few moments, he would be speaking with Emperor Thaxon of the Arcturus Empire. This was not something he had expected so soon. Connection ready, sir? Olivia said, checking the communication system. The signal is coming from the Imperial Palace on Arcturus Prime. William nodded. Put it through. The screen on the wall lit up. Emperor Thaxon appeared, sitting on a large throne. Unlike other Arcturians, the Emperor's scales did not change. Color. They were fixed in gold and black patterns showing his royal blood. His eyes were yellow with thin black lines. He looked very old and very wise. Ambassador Hayes, the Emperor said in a surprisingly gentle voice. You have created quite a problem for my empire, Your Majesty, William replied with a small bow of his head. The problem began when your ships surrounded our colonies. The Emperor made a strange sound. It took William a moment to realize it was a laugh. Direct, like all humans. This is why you worry us so much. You do not follow the old ways of careful, slow talking. We don't have time for slow talking, William said. 4 billion of our people need supplies. The Emperor's eyes narrowed. You are an interesting species. Our analysts told me humans would beg for help or make empty threats. Instead, you found our weak points and struck perfectly. William stayed quiet, waiting for the Emperor to continue. My advisors say our economy will collapse within 20 days if your blockade continues, the Emperor said. Our outer worlds are already reporting food shortages. Our factories cannot work without materials your ships bring. We can end this today, William offered. Remove your ships from our colonies. Let our people get what they need. Then we can talk about returning to normal trade. The Emperor was quiet for a moment. It is not so simple. My military leaders would lose respect if I simply gave in to human demands. Then don't call it giving in, William suggested. Call it a mutual agreement for the good of both our peoples. The Emperor's eyes showed interest. What exactly do you propose? A 3-step plan, William explained. First, you remove all ships from around our colonies, and we allow basic trade to resume with Empire worlds. Second, we form a joint committee to prevent future misunderstandings. Third, we sign a new treaty that protects both human and Arcturian interests. And the technology you showed the Council? The Emperor asked. Will you still share that with other races? William nodded. Yes, that cannot be changed. The time of keeping certain races from advancing is over. The Emperor leaned forward. You do not understand what you are doing. Some races are not ready for advanced technology. They will destroy themselves or others. That is not for the Empire to decide, William replied firmly. Each species must find its own path. The Emperor sat back and sighed. You are changing the way the galaxy has worked for 10,000 years. Maybe it's time for change, William said. The old system worked for the Empire, but not for everyone else. The Emperor seemed to think deeply for a while. Then he spoke again. I will order all ships to leave your colonies immediately. In return, I ask that you allow food, medicine, and basic supplies to resume delivery to our worlds. We can discuss the rest of your plan after that. William could not believe what he was hearing. The Emperor was agreeing to the first step without any argument. Thank you, Your Majesty. I will order our ships to resume those deliveries as soon as we confirm your ships have left our colonies. The Emperor made a small motion with his hand, and an aide came into view. Send the order to all fleet commanders. Operation Primate Containment is ended. All ships are to return to their home bases. The aide bowed and left quickly. "It is done," the Emperor said. "Now we must discuss the future." William nodded. "I agree. But first I must report to Earth. They will want to know about this important change." "Of course," the Emperor said. "We will speak again tomorrow." The screen went dark. William sat still for a moment, hardly believing what had just happened. The crisis that had seemed so dangerous was suddenly coming to an end. Olivia rushed in. "Sir, reports are coming in from all colonies. Arcturian ships are leaving. It's already confirmed at New Portland, Liberty Station, and 5 others." Captain Ryan followed her in. "Earth is calling, sir. The President wants a full report." William stood up. He felt very tired, but also very happy. "Tell the President I'll call in 10 minutes. And Olivia, send word to all human merchant ships. They can resume food and medicine deliveries to Empire worlds as promised." As his crew hurried to follow his orders, William went to the viewport and looked out at the stars. He had taken a huge risk by confronting the Empire this way. It could have led to war. Instead, it had led to the beginning of peace, a real peace, not just the absence of fighting. His device beeped with an incoming message. It was from Ellen Reeves, his strategic analyst back on Earth. "Congratulations, sir," her message read. "The President has approved all your recommendations. The blockade worked even faster than we expected." William smiled. "Tell the President that the Emperor himself ordered the ships to withdraw. We're entering a new phase now." "What's next?" Ellen asked. "We need to make sure this never happens again," William replied. "That means a new relationship with the Empire, one based on respect, not fear. And we need new agreements that protect both our interests." Over the next 6 hours, reports kept coming in. All 17 human colonies were free. Supply ships were already reaching the ones with the most serious shortages. At the same time, human merchant ships were delivering food and medicine to the Empire worlds that needed them most. The Council called an emergency session to discuss the rapid changes. Many races wanted to talk about the technologies that William had promised to share. Others wanted new trade agreements with Earth. The balance of power in the galaxy was shifting. William sent messages to Earth asking for experts to come to Nexus Station. They would need people who understood law, trade, technology, and many other fields to create the new agreements. This was only the beginning of a long process. That night, as William finally rested in his quarters, he thought about how quickly everything had changed. Just 2 days ago, the Empire had seemed all-powerful and humanity was in danger. Now the Empire was agreeing to human terms, and other races were looking to Earth for leadership. But William knew that real leadership wasn't about power. It was about creating systems that worked for everyone. The old way had favored the strong over the weak. The new way would need to be fairer. His device beeped one more time. It was a message from an unknown sender. When William opened it, he was surprised to see it was from someone in the Imperial Palace. It read, "Many of us have wanted change for centuries. Your actions have finally made it possible. Thank you." William smiled. Even within the Empire, it seemed there were those who welcomed a new beginning. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but for now he could rest knowing that billions of humans were safe and a better future was possible. 3 months passed after the Great Change began. William stood in a large, bright room on Nexus Station. The room had tall windows that showed the stars outside. Today was a big day for all people in the galaxy. "Are you ready, sir?" asked Olivia. She held a data pad with the final version of the new treaty. William nodded. "Yes, though I never thought I would see this day so soon." The room began to fill with people from many different worlds. Some looked almost human. Others were very different, beings made of crystal, light, or gas. They all came for the signing of the Galactic Cooperation Treaty. At one end of the room stood Emperor Thaxon with his advisors. His gold and black scales gleamed under the lights. He looked smaller than he had on the screen 3 months ago. Next to him stood his daughter, Princess Lixara. She was younger and her scales showed more colors, meaning she still showed her feelings like normal Arcturians. William walked over to greet them. Your Majesty, Princess, thank you for coming in person. The Emperor made a small bow. This treaty is too important for messages across space. Some things must be done face to face. My father speaks truth, said Princess Lixara. Her scales showed light green patterns of hope. This new beginning means much to many in our empire. William had learned that the princess belonged to a group of younger Arcturians who had wanted change for a long time. They believed the old ways of control and fear were wrong. The crisis with Earth had given them the chance they needed to speak up. The president of Earth arrived with her group. She shook hands with the Emperor and his daughter. Today marks a new chapter for all our peoples, she said. Soon everyone took their places around a large round table. The shape was important. It showed that no one species was more important than others. This was one of the big changes from the old council, where some races had better seats than others. William sat between the Earth president and Olivia. Across from him sat a being made of swirling gas named Zelorn, who represented 30 smaller worlds that had formed their own alliance. Before the crisis, these small worlds had little voice in galaxy matters. Now they were equal partners. Chancellor Vox entered last. His crystal body glowed with bright white light, showing he felt hopeful. Welcome, representatives of all free worlds, he said. Today we sign the treaty that will replace fear with cooperation, control with freedom, and isolation with connection. The treaty was shown on screens around the room. It had 3 main parts. First, it created the new Galactic Cooperation Council, where all species had equal votes no matter how old or powerful they were. Second, it made rules for sharing technology and knowledge among all worlds. Third, it created a joint fleet with ships from many worlds to keep the peace. This treaty would not exist without the brave actions of Ambassador William Hayes, Chancellor Vox said. When the Arcturus Empire broke the peace by surrounding human colonies, he responded not with weapons but with wisdom. William felt a little embarrassed as many eyes turned to him. He had not done this for praise. He had done it to protect human worlds and to create a fairer galaxy. One by one, representatives came forward to sign the treaty. The Earth president signed first, pressing her thumb on the data pad to record her DNA pattern. Then Emperor Thaxon did the same, followed by leaders from 100 other worlds. When all had signed, Chancellor Vox raised his arms. It is done. The treaty is now in effect. The room filled with happy sounds as people talked and celebrated. William stood to the side, watching. A feeling of peace filled him. The crisis that had seemed so dangerous had led to something good. Emperor Thaxon walked over to him. Ambassador Hayes, I have something to tell you. Tomorrow I will step down as Emperor. My daughter Lixara will take my place. William was surprised. Your Majesty, I didn't expect this. The Emperor's eyes showed a kind of peace William had not seen before. It is time for new ideas. My daughter understands the new galaxy better than I do. She will lead the Empire into this new age. What will you do? William asked. I will rest, the Emperor said. For 10,000 years my family has ruled through strength and fear. Now we will try another way. It is interesting. Princess Lixara joined them. Her scales showed bright patterns of blue and green. Ambassador Hayes, I want to thank you. Your actions allowed many voices in the Empire to finally be heard. We have wanted change for generations. I didn't know that, William admitted. How could you? She said. We were not allowed to speak out, but now we can, and we will build something better together. After the Emperor and Princess moved away, Ellen Reeves approached William. She had arrived from Earth a month ago to help with the treaty details. Quite a success, sir, she said with a smile. Human colonies are safe. Trade is flowing again, and the galaxy is more fair than it's been in thousands of years. William nodded. But our work is just beginning. Making this treaty real will take years. At least we have years now, Ellen said. There was a time when we didn't know if we had days. The celebration continued as night fell. From the windows they could see ships coming and going from the station, ships of all designs from many different worlds. Among them were the first ships of the new Joint Protection Fleet, painted with symbols from 100 worlds. William finally found a quiet corner to rest. Olivia brought him a drink from Earth, simple water, which was now considered special on Nexus Station. "When do we go home, sir?" she asked. "Soon," William said. "But first I need to help set up the new council. Earth has asked me to be its first representative." "They couldn't have picked anyone better," Olivia said with a smile. William looked out at the stars again. He thought about how quickly everything had changed. Just 3 months ago, the Arcturus Empire had seemed all-powerful. They had thought they could push humans aside, keep them weak and divided. Instead, the Empire had learned that humans were stronger than they looked, not because of weapons or ships, but because they understood how everything connected. Trade, information, technology, diplomacy. These were the real powers in the galaxy. A small alien child from the water world of Aquaria stopped near William. The child looked up with large, curious eyes. "Are you the human who changed everything?" the child asked in a bubbling voice. William smiled. "No, little one, many people change things. I just helped start the process." "My parent says humans are good at fixing broken things," the child said. "We try," William said. "Sometimes we break things too. But we always try to make them better afterward." The child nodded and moved away. William watched the stars again. The galaxy was so big, with so many worlds and people. For thousands of years, fear had ruled. Now they would try something new. The Arcturus Empire had disrupted the peace. A human diplomat had made them pay, not with war or destruction, but with change. That was the best payment of all.